everyone, my name is Nedim. I'm coming from Bosnia. Today I'll be speaking to you more about the Bosnian case, try to briefly also inform you about what activities human rights activists are doing actually in Bosnia today. So basically, I would like to start with the fact that Bosnia was one of the republics which emerged out of the former Yugoslavia. Former Yugoslavia itself was heavily militarized prior to the conflict in the 80s, with 200,000 military officials on the ground during the peacetime, and also over 2 million reserve forces during the time. Very soon in the 80s, when the Serbian nationalism was actually growing from Belgrade and from Serbia towards the other republics within Yugoslavia, military and police control was totally enforced by Slobodan Milosevic himself, who was a leader in Serbia and also considered the leader of Bosnian Serbs in Croatia, Bosnia and Kosovo. So practically, when the whole conflict started, we, on the example of Yugoslavia, on the example of Bosnia, we actually see failed solutions made by the international community itself. So it starts in September 1991 in Resolution 713, which actually made embargo on weapons trade and export and import of weapons to Yugoslavia. So the problem with this resolution itself was that one side was actually heavily armed, and all other sides in the conflict, emerging conflict, were actually without arms and were forced to defend themselves through basically smuggling weapons and trying to arm themselves in many different ways. However, during the conflict has emerged, international community very soon started to getting showing back to the Serbia and to Yugoslavia leadership, and slowly getting on the side of the Bosnians, Croatians, and so on. With this problem emerging, Serbia actually faced sanctions and was, so to say, enforced to push for their former or new allies in maintaining new weaponry in order to continue the war throughout the Yugoslavia, to Croatia and Bosnia specifically. When it comes to their allies in the war, particularly, there was a strong presence of Russian and Greek volunteers taking side in the war with Serbia, but also what remains quite shady and without final outcome is the position of different countries in terms of smuggling weapons to Yugoslavia, which were later used for commitment of war crimes and genocide as a turning point in July 1995 in Srebrenica against Bosnian Muslim population. Among others, journalists in Bosnia and also lawyers team, you will tell more about it, tried to reach out the Israeli involvement in this, and this brought actually to light when one of the accused war criminals, Ratko Mladic, was actually in his diaries mentioning Israeli involvement and their offers brought to the Bosnian Serbs during the war about military training and providing the weaponry for sniper rifles that were crucial for the siege of Sarajevo and dehumanization of conditions of civilian population within the Bosnia. Also to this, there was a continuous actually diplomatic effort of Israel, who continued to support Serbia, and you even have visits of representatives of Knesset and other diplomatic ties from Israel to Serbia during the sanctions. So particularly, you had a situation where the whole international community was actually condemning Serbia and Yugoslavia for acts committed against civilian population in Bosnia and Croatia, and Israel did not pay attention to this momentum. Bosnia during the war actually faced whole another different situations where international community was actually trying to experiment on how to deal with ongoing conflicts in zone of multi-ethnic communities. So compared to this, the United Nations first times idea of safe zone, so-called demilitarized zone, was actually situated in Bosnia, and now they are trying to do the same thing in Syria, and with same results and the same efforts. So it practically means demilitarizing the zone of the enclaves of Muslim population in Bosnia, making them no defense line, and on the other side, the international community failed to provide soldiers and military personnel to secure these demilitarized zones. This was also one of the examples. After the war, when it comes to the Bosnian case, which is rather relevant for the Israeli-Palestinian issue, the international community tried to impose International Criminal Tribunal for Yugoslavia, which was the first, so to say, successful attempt of dealing with war crimes on the global scale. However, for 20 years, practically victims did not reach justice because very few was actually trial and sentenced in Hague compared to the number of people and commanding officers who committed war crimes in the country. And next to this is the fact that the idea of peace solution in Bosnia, which was quite imported, of a two-state solution in the country, where you have formally one country as internationally recognized, but on the secondary level you have two entities with basically powers of state, where law on return, which was signed in 1995, even till today was not reached. So you basically face the society where you have returned actually property and returned everything that belonged to different communities prior to the war. However, you didn't secure any basic human rights or didn't fight against discrimination on the side which was left alone on the other side. So if you have federation where you have Muslims and Croats in majority, Serb population face discrimination on various elements, and on the other side in Republika Srpska you face total discrimination of Muslim and Catholic population. So basically the idea of peacemakers, which were heavily influenced by international community, was not actually to implement the law on return in the country, but it was just a formal statement given during the signing of the agreement, which was never allowed to be implemented. So I just wanted to share few important elements on how international community faced Bosnia during the war and after the war, which can be used as lessons learned for the future peace resolutions, not only here but also throughout the world. And also would like to emphasize that involvement of Israel but also other international factors was quite undocumented, and the fact that journalists and lawyers have failed to actually reach for new information on these matters actually show importance of human rights activists on the ground who are documenting the situation as it happens, and not we have now a situation where after 20 years we actually failed to make significant connections among the sides which were quite relevant during the war, and which would put to the responsibility not only Israel, not only US and Russia, but also Saudi Arabia, which had lots of influence in Bosnia, importing practically radical groups to the country during the war. So you had all sides involved in the conflict, but no responsibility coming from the international community as such for this. Thank you.